Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profits Show. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I've got some good stuff to share with you. And at the end, we have a promo code to share with you for Digital Pro Lab. But before I get into the subject for today, I want to tell you I'm Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers like you create a great income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face, so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab. And at the end of this presentation today, Amanda from Digital Pro Lab will come and visit us and share a promo code with us. So before I move into that, I want to make sure that you are letting me know who you are by first. You see down on the bottom of your screen, before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to use your name and picture too. And that causes me to know who it was that made a comment or asked a question, which is something we encourage you to do. StreamYard is just our platform so that we can simulcast this to several different places at the same time. So it's going to a handful of different Facebook pages and it's going to 2 different YouTube pages all at the same time. And so you may see some other people who are there with you, but you can't see everybody. That's why we use StreamYard, so that we can see everybody at one time. But that's if and only if you register by clicking that link at the bottom of the original post. And you may have to click the more to see it down at the bottom. But click on that to grant StreamYard permission. But if you want to remain anonymous, don't do that. That way I won't know who you are. So glad you guys are here. No, for those of you who've watched before, you know that I'd like for you to enter in hashtag live. Hashtag live whenever you are watching live, so that I know that you're watching live. So enter in hashtag live for me. Just comment hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, then enter in hashtag replay. Hashtag replay. So throughout this presentation, I want you to interact. I want your questions. I want your comments. And so just click on that comment. Enter in a post and whatever it is you want to say. If you have something you want to add that you've experienced before yourself, if you've got a question about what I'm asking about, if you've got a difference of opinion, I'm open to everything. Share it with me. I believe that your comments help make me better. And so I'm encouraging you to make those. I also want to encourage you, and I might say this a couple of times throughout, but I want to increase the number of people who are benefiting from watching the show. They're benefiting in their lives. They're growing. They're becoming they're becoming better as a photographer and as a business person. So help me, and it's helping you too. Help me by clicking share. Share this. Share what we're doing with other photographers. Just click that share button and add it to your page. Add it to your business page if that's appropriate. It may not be. But hit that share button. And if there's a specific person you have in mind, enter in their name to allow them to know what's going on. Don't keep this to yourself. Keeping good things to yourself, you may think is beneficial. But uplifting the entire photography community is what's going to be beneficial. Because if everybody stays with their low prices, everybody stays with their lack of systems, everybody stays with what they're doing right now, trying to wing it, this causes everything to come down. It causes clients to see that as normal. We don't want to see that as normal. We want to see real business standards. We want to see our pricing to be at the point where we can actually afford to live on it. Because photographers can and do very well off of the income they make in photography. Let's lift everyone up. Don't keep this to yourself. If you believe in lifting everyone up, hit that share button. Hit that share button. That'll help us to get more people on the Portrait Profit Show. You know, one of the greatest ways to learn and to grow is to share what you know with others. So I'm encouraging you to do that right now. All right. Uh, I can see I'm seeing Rick online right now, and I see Ralph. Those of you who are watching, enter in hashtag live. By the way, I can see on the 7 different places we simulcast. There's one that has 5, 7. There's one that has 7. It just jumped up. So the maximum number I'm seeing on any one of them is 7 right now. But we're just getting started. But I'm only seeing 2 of you entering hashtag live on that page. So I'm encouraging you hit hashtag live so that I know that you're here. Hashtag live. Do that for me real quick before I move into our subject today about 10 ways photographers are reducing their sales averages. What? Yeah, we are great, wonderful people. We are. We're fantastic. But we don't know everything. I don't know everything. But if we help each other out, then at least we know more. And I guarantee you, there are some things that you are doing that you think are beneficial, but are reducing your sales average. And you may think, well, that's just the money side. I don't do this just for the money. I do this for my clients. Guys, hear me out. You'll realize that what you're doing is not only detrimental to you, the things that I'm going to bring up, these 10, are detrimental to your client too. You just hadn't thought it through yet. So encouraging you to do that now. And again, enter in hashtag live if you're watching live. And if you're watching replay, then enter in the hashtag replay. So, hey, Rob. Hey, Jero. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you for being here. All right. So a couple of things. I want to let you know that I have a business assessment consultation that is yours just for requesting it. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to put it down in the comments here in just a second. But this is our business assessment consultation. And I give one of these every year. Some people use this as like an annual review. Others used it to build their price list. Others to talk about marketing. You can use this free 30-minute session for whatever it is you want. I don't sell anything during it. Now, if you ask me questions, I'm going to answer them. And if that includes telling you what it is that we sell, of course, I'm going to answer your question. Why wouldn't I? But that's not the purpose of it. And those who have taken advantage of it before could attest to that. We talk about you and what your goals are. So I'm going to put that in the comment section real quick. Excuse me. And you can take advantage of that right now. What that does, that link that I'm putting in the comment section, that takes you to my calendar. And those are times that I have available to do this. And so you just take the time that works best for you and show up. Show up. This is for 60 days out. So if you feel like you could use some assistance within the next 60 days, then do this. If you're going to put it off, well, guys, if you're going to put it off, that's a problem. It is. You don't want to put off business-related things. You want to do it now. Do it now. So do that business assessment consultation. Click on that link in the feed, in the news feed right now, and take advantage of that. And I also want to tell you about Lunch with Landers. This is free also. I take a portrait photographer to lunch with me every single week. And so this week it's you, or next week, or the week after. It's you. If and only if you do the same thing I mentioned before, you sign up for it. It takes some proactive steps, but not much, because all you have to do is, and I'm putting it in the comments right now, there we go, is click on this link that I'm putting in the newsfeed. Click on the link. It takes you to my calendar. It shows you the Tuesdays that I have available, because that's when I do this. I take a photographer to lunch with me every single Tuesday to the Dominion Country Club. And the reason is because I am going there on Tuesdays for lunch anyway. I just figured, why not take somebody with me? And the reason I go is because it's where my Rotary Club meets. And a Rotary Club, in case you don't know, it's a service organization. It's people who believe in service to others. But at these weekly meetings, what happens is we bring in a speaker. some local person usually who is doing really well in their field. It could be a lot of different things. One of the recent ones was a representative from the Ronald McDonald House to find out what that's all about. Someone else was came in to talk about bees, so that we knew what happened with bees and what the different types of honey are, and different types of bees are. So that's what it's about. So and the reason why I'm telling that is because one or two people said that they were intimidated, thinking, I'm not sure what that Rotary Club means. Rotary Club's a really fantastic thing. And besides, you're just there to hear a speaker. And once it's done, because it's only from noon to 1, we talk for half an hour or an hour about you. So plan to be there from about noon to 1:30 or 2 o'clock, because we spend a good amount of time afterwards talking about you and what you're trying to accomplish. So take advantage of that. Come to the Lunch with Landers. It's lunch on my dime. I'm paying. All you have to do is show up. Click that link in the news feed to take advantage of that. All right. So you guys are here because you want to hear about the 10 ways. By the way, I came up with a lot more than this, and I reduced it to this because I think these are the biggest ones, the ones that most people have experienced or had the biggest impact. And so these are 10 ways portrait photographers are reducing their sales averages. And let me give a little bit of background before I start moving straight into it. I'm going to make my screen just a little bit bigger for me so I can read it better. There are pros and cons to every single tool. Every tool you use in your photography business, whether it's business related or not business related. Every single tool in photography has an effect and a side effect, not necessarily pros and cons, but every tool, every business tool has a pro and a con. There's some things that work well. There's some things that don't. There's some things when applied correctly, it works well. And then if it's not applied correctly, it doesn't. We get this. All right. So there's somewhat of a basis. Just because I list it here in my top 10 10 ways that photographers reduce their sales average does not mean that it's never a correct tool, because sometimes it could be. I'm just saying that sometimes it could be a detrimental tool. So that there's that basis. So don't say, oh, there's times. Of course there's times when something could work. Of course. Come on. But I'm going to be talking about the times when it is causing harm. This presentation is made for portrait photographers who believe in full service. So I need to define what full service is. Full service means that there's no further work for the client to do before they get to enjoy your images that you've created for them. For example, if you create a beautiful family portrait and all you do is sell the digital files for that session, if the client wants to have an image on display so that they can enjoy it every day, then they must take the additional steps to getting an image, getting it printed and on display, printed, framed, installed so that it is on display so they can enjoy it every day. And it means that if you believe in completing your work, and there is nothing that says that you have to, by the way, you do whatever you feel is right for you and your clients. I'm not telling you that this is wrong or right. I'm just telling you what full service means. It means no more work for a client to do before they get to enjoy your work. So if you believe in completing your work, and no one says you have to, but if you believe that it's important to complete your work, then you first learn how to do these things: printing, framing, delivery, installation. It's some extra work, sure. And then, of course, you add them to the things you're able to do. Full service is different in different situations, though. For instance, if you're creating a headshot for someone's LinkedIn profile, then a digital file is almost complete. A digital file optimized for use on LinkedIn would be full service in that instance. Full service means completing the work. There's nothing left for the client to do. That's what full service is. So with that in mind, let's talk about 10 ways that photographers are reducing their sales average and harming not only themselves, but guys, it is harming your clients too. You need to be aware of these. So the first one is sneak peeks. Now, again, I'm not saying in all times, in all uses, that sneak peeks aren't good. I'm saying they can be harmful. And here's how. For those who aren't familiar with what sneak peeks is for a portrait photographer, it's sharing on social media a few select images from your photography session before delivering the full set of images to the client. It is intended to be a way of building buzz and generating excitement. Sneak peeks may seem like a great way to please clients, but they can do more harm than good. While it might not seem like a big deal, giving away sneak peeks can be detrimental to your sales average because they've already experienced that feeling of excitement. It's reduced by the time you're actually showing your photographs in person. So while some of that excitement does still remain, you've watered it down by just a bit. When you give the presentation, you've watered down that excitement just a little bit. For these reasons, make sure the first time they see their images is at your portrait selection consultation, your image review, your whatever it is that you call that when you share your photographs with your client, when you hand hold them through the process. Again, this is full service. Not everybody does it this way. I did do sneak peeks. It's been a little while. I think it was 2008 when I stopped doing them. So I stopped doing them the moment I heard a client say, "Oh, that's one that you put online. I already have it. I don't need to buy it." Yeah. Somewhat deflating to hear that. And I didn't want that feeling anymore. And I wanted all the excitement built up and ready for my presentation. The next one, shoot and burn. What? Shoot and burn? How's that detrimental? Well, it might be obvious, but let's talk about it for a minute. Let's give a little bit of history, a little definition. Shoot and burn began in the late 1990s and became popular in the early 2000s. So, it was popular 2 decades ago. As you likely know, this is the way to deliver your image via digital files that is now often USB drives and online delivery. But it began on CDs and DVDs, hence the name burn, since that's what was done to add information to CDs and DVDs. But giving the originals to the client was new to the photography world because no photographer prior to digital ever gave away their originals, most often called negatives. It wasn't because people didn't know what to do with negatives. Everyone knew what to do with negatives. It was easy to have prints made. It's always been easy in our lifetime. It was because photographers believed that quality and artistic control should be in their hands until it's completed. I mean, would any artist of any other medium sell incomplete work? Does a sculptor say, well, the clients know how to use a hammer and chisel, so I'll sell it to them now and save me some time? Does the artist who paints on canvas say, they know how to use a paintbrush, they can finish it? Does the artist, or excuse me, so why do portrait photographers think that they can get away with this type of behavior? Not even non-artists like plumbers. Not that some plumbers aren't artists also, but I'm not sure that you'd put plumbing in the artist category. Not even non-artists like plumbers would ever do that to their clients. Can you imagine a plumber coming to your home to install a sink and not finishing the work because they know that you know how to tighten a collar or tighten a bolt? Just because someone knows how to do something is no excuse not to finish your work. Now, here's an example of why you would want to do shoot and burn. Again, I'm not saying every single situation. If you're an event photographer, shoot and burn may very well be the appropriate tool to use. Again, all these things are just tools, but not for not for a portrait photographer, which is who this presentation is written for. Not only is this model incomplete for clients, but it has a negative impact on your sales. because there is profit in selling prints, framing, and installation. And for those closed minded individuals who say, oh, you're just after the profit, there you go. First, there is nothing wrong with making a profit. That's how we put food on the table. Is what you do, is if you've got some other full-time job, do you have a problem with making money in order to put food on your table? No. So what's the difference? None, other than a negative mental attitude towards it. So it is good to make a profit. It is bad not to, if you're in business. Second, if you're serving your client with integrity, the kind of client you want, the kind of client you want to work with, is more than happy to pay you to get it done. Do you really think that it will have that it will save them time, effort, and money to not have you, the artist, complete the work? I mean, how much more time, effort, headache, and stress will the client invest to have an image printed when you, as the expert, know how to do that stuff, or should? I mean, they've got to not only get it printed, they've got to take it to the framer and then learn how to properly install it on the wall and then do that. This isn't what they do every day. This is what photographers do every day. Those who are doing complete, full work. So you are adding stress to their lives by not completing the work. We provide a service. When you hire a service, it is because, well, when you hire a service, is it because you're looking for more work to do? Of course not. It's because you want to have work taken off your plate. So be the service provider that takes work off the plate, not adds to their plate. All right. Now, I must say one more thing about shoot and burn. Many portrait photographers are finding that some clients are dropping them to hire shoot and burn photographers. So I want to address that. I understand how you feel, but let those guys go. These are not your ideal clients. Now, do attempt, if you feel confident, in a little client education, sharing with them why it's beneficial. But if you don't feel confident, or if you feel like they're going to be closed-minded to the information, they're likely not your client. So stop chasing after the things that aren't the right tool for the job. Everything's a tool, guys. You need to view it through the lens of it's just a tool to help me get where I'm going. And if it doesn't help you get where you're going, let that tool go. Put it back in the photography toolbox. Maybe you need it later, but you don't need it now. Shoot and burn is associated often with either new photographers and most successful with amateur photographers, those who don't do it as an income source. And so it's certainly a way to save time. Those who are happy to simply capture memories without really an intention of creating art, it works for them too. So there are instances where this is fine, where it works. As a result, if you want to maintain a healthy business and work with clients who want the best that you have to offer, it is important to offer your clients something more than just digital files. By providing high quality prints, or maybe it's albums and other products, and completing the work you show your clients, the value of your work, and you keep them coming back for more. Next one is post and pray. If you've watched this show for long, you've heard of this one too. Post and pray. I saw firsthand in the early 2000s. Again, this is not new. This has been around 2 decades plus. I saw firsthand in the early 2000s how the post and pray business model was quickly headed towards becoming the industry norm. In January of 2000, I started working with a company that provided this service, which included a website, hosting of the images, e-commerce, everything you'd need to be able to share your photographs online and have your clients be able to order them from you at their convenience. And this company told me that I was the first in my area to provide the service. Early on, it was a novelty, and all along it was convenient. It wasn't long before it became normal. It seemed like everyone was doing post and pray. Now, post and pray means that you post your images, most of them, you may cull out a few, but you put most of your images online so that your clients and anyone that they wanted to see the image or images could conveniently see them and order whatever it was that they wanted, all without having to return to the photographer's studio. And by the way, this tool may have been the biggest variable that caused normalizing photographers who did not own a physical studio or office space. Prior to that, you would not have been taken seriously as a photographer if you didn't have a place for clients to come to. So in that respect, kind of cool. So with this cool tool, your clients can order prints online anytime. You might get an order overnight while you're sleeping. Pretty darn cool. That sounds great, except you are the expert. You know which images print best for specific uses because you have experience. You know how proportion works with print sizes. For instance, if someone orders a 4x6 and an 8x10, these have different proportions. You must crop 2 inches off of an 8x10. You have to. It's proportion, guys. 4x6 is equivalent in proportion to an 8x12. But an 8x10 means cropping 2 inches off. Someone who isn't familiar with this might get frustrated or bothered by that. You might crop out Aunt Edna. That's not a good thing. We like Aunt Edna. By the way, you should prepare for that and not use the sides of your photograph so that Aunt Edna never gets cropped out. But it's a concern. So let's say you're a wedding photographer or an event photographer. Post and pray may be the best option for you and your clients. Wedding guests may never see the images without this tool. And maybe they'll buy a print or two. So it is a good tool for certain things, but I absolutely recommend against it for portrait photographers. Now, let's say you're doing mini sessions where you're doing one right after the other. By the way, I want to make sure you guys understand, a mini session is not a short session. That's not what a mini session is. It is short, sure, but a mini session is one right after the other, or at least it's planned that way. Hopefully you get enough sales to make it that way. But a mini session does not mean short session. It means many sessions, one right after the other, and they're shortened to accommodate the number of sessions you're going to do. And because you're spending less time with them, it costs less. So there are times when post and pray, even with portrait photography, is a good idea, but not with regular sessions. I use the post and pray method for everything, nearly everything, for nearly a decade. So starting in January of 2000. I think it was around 2008, 2009 when I stopped doing it. So nearly a decade. Bad choice. Now, I didn't know it I had no idea. But once I switched back to in-person sales, the old way of doing sales, my sales averages increased by 100%. Yes, my sales averages doubled overnight. It is so worth the extra time that I invest. Not to mention that the clients were happier and the number of clients returning increased. It's a win-win, guys. All right, enough about shoot and burn, or post and pray and shoot and burn. Next one is failing to convey the entire process, beginning with the very first time you contact them or they contact you, which is usually often a phone call. It's important to understand that your potential clients are likely feeling a bit of uncertainty when they first reach out to you. They may be wondering if you're the right fit for their needs, if they'll be able to relax and enjoy the photography session, or if they'll be happy with the results. By conveying your entire process to them multiple times throughout this process, beginning with the first phone call and continuing at several points throughout the client sales process, you can help to ease these fears by building trust, leading them to feeling confident that you're the right choice. This confidence helps in every way. During the session, for them feeling comfortable, during the portrait selection consultation, when they feel good about investing their time and money with you, which of course will not only lead to more sales, but to higher sales averages. So the next time you're on the phone with a potential client, take the time to walk them through your process. Yeah, it's different from other photographers. It's supposed to be. That's why you need to share it with them. No surprises. Share it with them from start to finish so that your client knows exactly what's going to happen and how it all works. It could make all the difference in making a sale. Next one. Failing to convey what it's going to cost. Now, you guys anticipated this one, I bet. And I'm going to check comments real quick. Hey, Dave, glad you're here. Yeah. Not so much anymore. So, yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments. And by the way, I want to encourage you guys, make comments, ask questions. I don't get a chance to look at the comments, constantly, of course, because I'm sharing some stuff with you. But I do look over there every once in a while, and it does give me a tally. It shows me how many. And after I see 2 or 3 or 4, I will look over there, unless I'm on a roll. So comment, ask questions. Also, if you're watching right now live, do me a favor, enter in #live. Also, click the share button. Share this with others. If you believe in helping others, if you believe in uplifting photographers, if you think that's beneficial to the photography community, hit share. If you don't believe it's beneficial to the photography community, okay, don't hit share. So if and only if you feel this is beneficial, hit share. Now, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Good to see you guys here, by the way. Dave and, hey, Wesley. I'm glad you're here. Jero and Ralph and Rick. Man, I'm glad to see you guys here. Brittany. I'm glad you're here, Brittany. I think you have some classes coming. Not sure. I have to look. I think you do, though. All right. Anyway, so this next one is failing to convey what it's going to cost. Do you like going into something that could cost a lot and have no idea of what it might cost until it's already done? It depends on what it is, but most of us, of course not. One of our many goals as a photographer is to make our clients and prospects feel good and confident in us. Of course it is. You don't need a class to know that. There are a few reasons why failing to reveal your prices up front is going to harm your sales average. By the way, not everybody cares about your price. You will have people who just don't care. But they are in the minority. The majority of them care a lot. And they have an emotional connection to the money side. All right. That being said, there's a few reasons why failing to reveal your prices harms your sales average. Failing to mention the cost up front can give the impression that the photographer is not confident in their work. The next one, it can be perceived as dishonest, or you could come across as a slick salesperson, which I don't think any of us wonderful creatives wants to come across. We don't like slick salespeople. Therefore, we don't want to be one. And the third one that I have listed here, it creates an awkward situation when the time comes to discuss payment, leading to dissatisfaction on both sides. The best way to avoid these problems is to be upfront about pricing from the beginning. During that first phone call, when you're explaining the sales process, you're also going to be telling them how much this is going to cost. And again, during the planning session. I believe that this is essential to be upfront with your clients about the cost of your services for two main reasons. There's a bunch of reasons, but two main ones. Number one, there's not going to be any surprises, and everyone knows what to expect. They know what to expect. You know that they're good with it. Two, you'll be more likely to attract clients who are willing to pay and able to pay your asking price, and they don't haggle when it's time to pay. By the way, when I started off, I had low prices. Most of us photographers do. We all make that mistake in the beginning. Some of us never fix the mistake because we don't see it as a mistake. We don't fix things that we don't see as problems. But something that often happened early on was haggling with the price. It doesn't happen anymore. I think it's been years since the last time someone did that. When clients know up front about your prices, you get two valuable results. Number one, more qualified clients, which increases your sales average. And number two, you build better relationships with your clients. I recommend that you listen to their goals, their thoughts, ask questions for clarity, and once you have enough information to give an estimate, say, before we go any further, can I give you an indication of how much you can plan on investing? And of course, I say yes to that. And then give them a range. Most people in your situation can expect to invest between $1,500 and $3,000 and get a larger one for themselves for the wall and some smaller ones to give as gifts. Does that fit within your budget? By the way, I say it that way every single time. So I'll say it one more time, just in case. Before we go any further, can I give you an indication of how much you can plan on investing? Most people in your situation will invest between $1,500 and $3,000 and get one for the wall and some others as gifts. Does that fit within your budget? By the way, the amount I give is based on what I have learned, so it's not always that amount. It could be higher. And what it's for, when I say a larger one for the wall and some smaller ones as gifts, that's adjusted based also on what I heard them say. Most people who come to me are coming to me because they want a wall portrait. And some others too, but the wall portrait is the main goal, something to enjoy every single day. They love their family, and so they'd love to have a beautiful portrait on the wall of their family. That shows pride. Of course it does. All right. The next one. Believing that clients can dictate what the professional should be doing. What? Well, a common piece of advice is that the client is always right. But it doesn't take long in business to realize that's not true. While it's important to take your client's wishes into account, blindly following their every request is going to lead to problems, including lowering your sales average. This is because portrait photography is a personal art form, and because clients often don't know what they want. By first listening to them and then using your experience and expertise to guide their choices, you can help them create portraits that they will be truly happy with. And when they are happy, your sales averages go up. Again, don't need me to tell you that. You know it. You need to listen to what the client wants for two main reasons. Now, you know you need to listen to what the client wants, but here's two main reasons you want to do that. Finding out if you're the right tool for the job, not so that you can be all things to all people. Thinning yourself out and never being known as an expert in anything. Why would you choose that? Because you're just grabbing onto every piece of business. I've got to make income, Jim. I have to make money. If you're making all your decisions based on money, come on. Finding out if you're the right tool for the job, not so that you can be all things to all people. Because thinning yourself out, because you'll be thinning yourself out and you'll never get known as the expert in anything. Number two, customizing what you do to their vision. Not accommodating their every whim, but doing what you're best at and customizing it for your client. Maybe you feel like you're after their approval, or maybe you're after compliments. Caring too much about being liked causes you to lose sight of what you do and why you do what it is that you do. Compliments are not the goal, they're the side effect of an effective process, quality service and products, and great rapport. Here's an example of a photographer who gave in after their clients requested the digitals. Right, this is just an example. A prospect asked for all the digitals and said that that was what their last photographer did, and so that's what they expected. So, in order to get the business, the photographer accepted the terms. Now, that's a real situation. People do this. But if it's not something you want to do, if it's not part of your process, if you don't normally do this, and just because you wanted the money you accepted, then I hope you see that you were motivated first by money, not by what you said, giving your best. I want to warn you against decisions that are solely motivated by money, because they set you up for failure and disappointment. What you need to do is define your values so clearly that they are easy for you to follow and you never cave on your principles. And I have an opinion on giving clients the digitals and allowing them to do what they want with them. I understand how it may be quick and convenient for you and your client. I understand that it might be exactly what it is that they asked for. And for those reasons, I further understand why you may feel like you're just satisfying the request of your clients. So you may be thinking, isn't satisfying your prospects and clients' requests a good business practice? Sure. On the surface, it seems like it is. But if your reason is just to get business, if you elevate the business side above photography, which, by the way, is fine if that's what works for you. If you're a business person who does photography, then the speed of that process of just handing over your images is beneficial. But for those of you who are photographers who are in business, I hope you see the difference. Then you are more than just a business person. You create something that goes well beyond a simple transaction. In my opinion, what photographers do is well beyond the money. The money is more like a fantastic side effect if you're doing it right. It extends further into the lives of our clients than most other things that your client's ever going to purchase in their lifetime. What we do has the potential to be experienced every day and well beyond a lifetime. Few things in life go this far. Not a perfect wedding venue, not your dream car, not even the work of a doctor. A photograph is, I'm going to give you an interesting definition of photography or a photograph. A photograph is an investment in emotion so powerful that it reaches throughout our life, into the lives of those who experience it, and into future generations. This is your art. This is your contribution to the world. Do not let it become watered down by accommodating every single request you get, just because you need the money. The money comes because your contribution is appreciated. Do what you know is right. And the reason you know it's right is because you've invested the time to do the research. You continue your education. You've gained large amounts of experience, and you've made lots of mistakes from which to use as fence posts along the path that focuses your evolution into the fantastic artist you were always meant to be. By the way, I'm not going to repeat that, so you might want to watch the replay and watch that again. The next one. Not defining your target market and then specifically marketing them and accepting only those jobs. You're a professional photographer. You're the expert in your field. You have beautiful work. You probably spent thousands of dollars on education, thousands on equipment, and thousands on coaching. But for many of you, there's a problem. You're tempted to take on any job that comes your way. But unless you have a team of photographers and staff to handle that, that's a recipe for years of struggle. That doesn't mean you won't have some successes. You will. But it's a recipe for years of struggle. If you want to become a finely tuned professional and to maximize your earnings as a portrait photographer, you need to focus on your target market. It's important to have a defined target market. This allows you to focus your marketing efforts and attract the clients that are most likely to want your services. Besides, not all clients are good for you. There are people who drain you. You know this. You must have a plan to systematically reduce the chances that they make it through your process. You have to have this well thought out. By the way, this is something I help you with. This is something a lot of photographers don't do. And for a lot, it never even crossed their mind that they could narrow down to just the best, most ideal, fantastic clients. It's just a dream, a wish. Guys, it's reality. If you make a system to make it a reality, otherwise it's just a wish that's not going to come true on its own. Without a strong definition of your target market, you'll likely find yourself working for lower prices. As a result, your sales average will be lower than it can be, of course. By specifically marketing for your target market and only accepting those clients, you can increase your sales and improve your business and improve your level of happiness. So if you're not sure who your target market is, it's time to sit down and figure that out. And yes, I can help with that. That's what I do. I'm going to check comments real quick. Hey, Ryan, glad you're here. Thanks for sharing this. Dave. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you saying that. And so, again, I want to encourage you guys, comment. Make comments. Ask questions if you want to. I also appreciate you guys hitting that like button and that love button. I mean, but only if I say something that deserves it. And if you're on your cell phone, you can hit that like button and love button as many times as you want. It'll keep on accepting it. It may do it on desktop too. I'm not sure, but I know it does it on the cell phone. So That's encouragement for people like me. We love seeing the comments that you're making. We love knowing that you're appreciating what it is that we invest our time doing. So yeah, hit that like button, hit that love button, and share this. Just click that share button. Share this with others. There's someone else in your world who could benefit from the same information you're receiving today. All right. So, and again, if you're watching live, please enter hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, I want you to comment hashtag replay. All right. Yeah, good. I'm looking at Brittany. I'm looking forward to that, Brittany. All right. So let's see. Next one is not defining what type of photography that you enjoy most and only marketing for that type. You know that you're better at some types of photography than others. You know that you enjoy certain photography more than others. You do not have to do everything. In fact, you shouldn't do everything. Are there doctors that can do everything? No, because there's too many variables. So they specialize. Same thing in photography, guys. You could spend your entire life studying photography and still not know everything there is. So it's to your benefit as a professional, as an expert, to focus in on something. It could be a group of some things, but focus in on something. So if you haven't already, take the time to brainstorm and define what your favorite types of photography are, what you're best at, what you enjoy the most. As many successful photographers know, it's important to specialize in a particular field to stand out from the competition. If you show images of every single thing you have the ability to press the button in front of, then you look like everybody else, guys, even if your photographs are good. Because what you're doing is you're showing a variety, and people say, oh, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a senior portrait photographer. I'm looking for a newborn photographer. I'm looking for a wedding photographer. I'm looking for a family portrait photographer. When someone's looking for something specific and they come across Mr. Variety, they're very likely to skip past you. By the way, if you do want to have different types of photography, I do recommend that you have different websites, but that thins your time and the money that you're spending on marketing these things. So if you're going to do that, do not start off doing that. Focus in on just one thing. It's hard enough to market just one thing. Thinning yourself out doesn't make sense, not at first. Not unless you've got a team behind you who's each one of them is doing different things, or maybe you've got a team of people doing the weddings, a team of people doing the portrait, whatever. If you're a one-person show, focus in on one thing, guys. You don't have time for everything. You don't even have time, really, to do an incredible job on just one. So stop thinning yourself out. While many market themselves and accept practically any type of job, accepting jobs for any and every type of photography is very likely to result in reduced sales averages. By defining the type of photography you most enjoy and focusing your marketing efforts on that specialization, you are more likely to attract clients who are looking for that type of photography. So therefore, you get to do more of it. Not only will this lead to more satisfied clients, but it leads to a more satisfied you. And of course, it boosts your sales average. Make sure your portfolio and your website reflect what it is that you enjoy doing, not a variety show. And resist the temptation to take on jobs that are outside of your specialty. All right, let's move to the 9th of 10. We're almost done with this, guys. Number 9 is poor follow-up. Again, these are 10 ways portrait photographers are reducing their sales average. So this one is poor follow-up. By not following up, you're missing out on the chance to build stronger relationships with your clients, which of course reduces the sales of additional products and services. When you take the time to follow up, you're showing your clients that you value their business and you're willing to provide them with outstanding service. So if you want to maximize your sales and create lasting relationships with your clients, make sure to create a system that includes thorough follow-up. It could be the difference between a successful business and one that just scrapes by. And then the last one, number 10 of 10, not creating systems. Some of you will be surprised how many business owners are just winging it. Others of you won't be surprised. It just depends on who you are and what kind of things you do. But the fact is that there are more photographers without systems in place than there are of photographers who do have them. They think that they can just keep everything in their head and that everything will magically just come together because maybe they've experienced that in the past. Guys, improving is what we have to do. Remaining stagnant, water remaining stagnant, is bad. Humans remaining stagnant. How is this any different? You have to constantly improve. Eventually, if you don't have systems, you're going to crash because you're trying to keep too many things in your mind all at one time without some kind of a support structure. Systems help you to streamline your process, keep track of what needs to be done, and delegate tasks effectively. Without systems, your business will likely be disorganized, inefficient, and frustrating to work with. So if you'd like to avoid all that, create systems for your business. It'll save you lots of headache in the long run. And yes, another example of things I help with. So take advantage of working with someone who's done this before, who can help you, who can shave years off in days. That's what I do. And it's worth every penny. At least that's what those who work with me say. And I believe them. Because I was one of those at first who tried to do it all on my own. And I would invest years or decades into my system, doing what I'm doing, not realizing that there's a better way because I didn't seek it out correctly. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't have coaches along the way. I did. I've had, I think, 6 coaches over the years. It didn't mean that I didn't continue to take classes. I still continue to take classes. I got a degree 30 years ago in photography, a 4-year degree. And while I thought then that I knew a lot, I think now, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. Even though I've got a good amount of information collected up here. And I love sharing it. So, I hope some of you, I hope all of you found some of these to be useful. Some changes that you can build into your system. You know that you must be an effective communicator. You must consistently provide a high level of client service, be transparent in your pricing, and make choices that promote and support you as a brand. When you do these things, you'll stop doing the things that reduce your sales average and start seeing real growth in your business. Now, I want to bring Amanda on and hear her point of view. Hey, Amanda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jim?
Good. Good to see you.
Thanks. I love the fact that you continually point out that people need to find their niche and they need to stay focused. That's one of the my favorite things that you teach, and it's something that I think everybody needs to really really take seriously. And as I'm listening to that part of what you were saying, I actually have stickers on my desk from a photographer. He's a portrait photographer that has a very specific niche market. It's You'll love it actually, but he takes pictures of vegetables and puts them in bathtubs, small miniature bathtubs. And
Oh,
if you
that's
don't follow him on
hilarious.
Instagram, it's at Tub Veg, so VEG. Yeah, so when I
Cool.
hear niche market, I mean that's a creative niche market. I mean it's not people, but it's vegetables. But if he can do it, y'all can do it, and he's doing really great. He's growing his
Hey,
business.
if that makes him happy and keeps him going and causes him to wake up in the morning with energy, more power to him. I love that.
But it also keeps you creative in the
Yeah.
niche market that you're in. And if you have time to dedicate to that very specific vision, you're going to think even more outside the box than anybody else is because you're completely focused on it. So I think that's again, it's one of my favorite things that you recommend.
Love it.
Yeah,
Thanks, Amanda.
you're welcome. Yeah.
So, do you have something to share with us today?
I have two things that I want to share. Normally, I do a promo code, and I don't have a promo code this week, but I feel like I have something better. We have two events coming up.
Cool.
One of them is this Saturday here at Digital Pro Lab. It's actually an exhibit. I don't know if y'all know, and I know I maybe talked about it a little bit. And if you've seen the past shows, you might have heard me mention Photo Septiembre. So just like we celebrate, Contemporary Art Month here around February in San Antonio, in here in the city, we actually have something called Photo Septiembre, which is a celebration of photography the entire month of September. And Digital Pro Lab in the past has participated. And what we do is completely convert our retail space into an art gallery so that we, as printers, can get creative with what we do. So that we can showcase artists and elevate their work and bring our community and our city together as part of this kind of festival of galleries that we have here in San Antonio. So if you're not familiar with that and you're looking to get inspired, I encourage you to go and look up Photo Septiembre. And you'll see all of the different galleries that are participating, and hopefully you'll get some, creative inspiration from what other people are doing, even in the portrait photography arena. And on that topic, ours is actually featuring all portraits. And I actually want to show you one of them. I'm hoping that it'll translate well via, video screen that I've got here, but I'm hoping. So what we're doing is we're actually demoing augmented reality, which is where you have a photograph like the ones that are behind me, but if you use your technology, like your cell phone, you just go ahead and open up the app, and if you point that application towards a photograph, it'll actually come to life using technology. So this is kind of more cutting edge stuff. It's something a little bit outside the box. And in portrait photography, it's actually very powerful because when you're taking a portrait of somebody, you know it because you're the photographer, you're having conversations with them, and you're getting to know that person. But if somebody doesn't know the person that's in the photograph, it's very hard sometimes to articulate that person's story. But when you can pair it with video, that becomes an even more powerful way to share somebody's history, to share their story, to share a point of view that might need to be getting across, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you. So we're using an app right here. It looks just like a camera, and you can kind of see like all the crap I have going on behind my desk. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the portraits that's actually going to be in the exhibit. And so what that's doing is it's actually paired it so you can see the picture, the actual physical picture behind me, but then on my phone, you're actually seeing that video interaction. And you can see my hand still in there, moving it around. So we see I think it's in Italy. There's some video, and there he is playing his guitar. So that's the kind of stuff that at Digital Pro Lab we really like to get creative in our community and with the events that we put on. And I encourage you, if you have the time this Saturday, to stop by at Digital Pro Lab. If you go, let me go ahead and put this up. So if you're interested in coming, it's going to be from 7 to 10 p.m. this weekend on Saturday. But just go over to digitalprolab.com/events, and you'll see that event listed on there for this Saturday so that you know where to go and a little bit more about the exhibit that we're showcasing. I don't know if many of you know, but I do play violin on the side. I think I've talked about it in previous shows. But music is a very big part of my life. So the exhibit that we've put together, it's important. It's important for people to know how impactful music is in all of our lives. And there's going to be a lot of different people that you may recognize. One of them being the mayor, whose portrait is on display as well, who's going to be talking about in this augmented reality format why it's so important to him and then to our city as well. So I hope that you can come and kind of really see that and experience this new technology, because as portrait photographers, if you're able to see it and really understand it, from there, sky's the limit, and you can offer something completely new and innovative that's going to separate yourself from anybody that may not be privy to that type of technology. So come by, take a look at it, experience it, and I would love to hear your feedback and how you would incorporate it in your own photography, because I think it's pretty neat stuff. I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
That is really cool. It is. I can definitely see that being something portrait photographers use. There's several of us portrait photographers who create slideshows and do different things. And so we could just connect that slideshow that we're doing already to the app, and someone who's using the phone could put it in front of that photograph being up on their, beautifully displayed on their wall, and see more of that. That would be really cool. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be, and there's a lot of creative ways that you can use that, not just doing the video, but also doing slideshows. Another thing would be, doing Christmas cards, and those Christmas cards have a holiday message. That augmented reality works with any photograph in any form, right? So I think it's a very powerful thing that, we just need to sit there and think outside the box. And when we can do that, I think
You
that's
could
a
send
part.
private messages to people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to send you a personal message. A note card.
Oh man, good. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And I saw Isla behind you.
Oh gosh, yes. She's running around. I'm trying
She
to post
wanted to
that
see that
show.
augmented reality.
Oh, she's been seeing it. She's running around trying to grab the lights out of my hand as I'm trying to put them up on the gallery wall.
Oh
She's
man.
doing, but
Yeah.
yeah, she's good. Yeah, and then the
Awesome.
other event that's coming up too, and y'all will see it if you head over to digitalprolab.com/events. PPSA is actually hosting a mix and mingle on that Monday, the 29th. It's at a place called Elsewhere. So it's a super relaxed, kind of beer garden place where we're all going to get together. We're going to talk about photography, get to know other photographers in San Antonio in the industry. And I know Digital Pro Lab will be out there. We'll have some products to share. And then I think Camera Exchange is going to be out there as well, and maybe one or two other vendors. And they're going to do prizes and, raffles and all that good stuff. So it'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
29th. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing those with us.
You're welcome.
I
Thanks, Jim,
appreciate it.
for another lovely lesson. I got to hear the last half of it, but even those are things that I need to hear as a business owner.
Me too. We got to keep on being reminded.
I know.
And we get focused on the things that we're doing, and focusing is a good thing, but we've got to do this, and we got to keep on, just like conversation. I've told this story a handful of times, but one of those epiphany moments was when someone said, "You're one of the most interesting people I think I've ever met," but that came after me just asking questions about him. I was going, deep and wide. I would ask a question that was, that was to go deep. And then once I didn't really know anything else to ask about that, I widened it back up and found something that I could go deep in. And so I was just doing the deep and wide conversation. I call it that. It probably has a better name. And I only talked about him. I only asked questions about him. And at the end of that, he said, you're one of the most interesting people. So that was, I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking, what? How's that possible? I didn't mention a word about me. I didn't say anything about me. How am I interesting? Well, in order to be interesting, you have to be interested, and a lot of those life lessons just come about as you're going, huh, and analyzing what just happened. So we have to be reminded about these things. We've got to experience these things, and putting yourself out there and giving yourself room to make mistakes. Mistakes are good things. They're fantastic. Criticism is great. Is it always? No, but criticism as a tool to help you improve is fantastic. And if you rule out criticism, viewing it as a personal attack, you aren't going to grow. You're going to stagnate. You're going to cause all kinds of problems, and you won't even realize it. You'll be totally unaware that it's you who's causing the problems. You'll actually believe that it's other people. So receive that criticism. Open your mind. Experience new things. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Don't avoid them. Go headstrong into them.
Yep. Yeah. And the other thing on my cell phone, I think I've shared that before, is don't think, just do. Sometimes you just need to kind of
Yeah,
move forward.
we
No
do.
matter what the criticism, no matter, your self criticism or any of that, you just got to move forward, and you got to sometimes learn through the harder times to
Oh,
see
yeah.
what you're made of.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us, or is it time for me to share what the upcoming shows are?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Cool. All right. So uh, we have we actually have all the entire rest of the year planned out, but I'm just going to share with you the next few upcoming shows, and those. Uh, the one for next week, which is on Monday, August 29th, is, well, goes right hand in hand with what today's was. Today's was what to avoid, what not to do. Next week is what to do. So increase your sales average. Now, this isn't a class about increasing the number of sales that you make, although I'll touch on that slightly. It's about increasing your sales average. Can you imagine if is that a good thing, Amanda? Do you think that's a good idea to seek ways to increase your sales average?
Absolutely.
And you guys might be thinking, well, you're taking money away from your client. So how's that a good thing to focus on that? Guys, this is not about taking money away from your clients. If your client loves what it is that you do, they want to pay you for it. I mean, they go and they buy expensive things all the time. Now, does everybody? Of course not. But there are people who do. And why do they do that? Because it exists and they're excited by it. So create things that exist that people could be excited by. And guess what? Your sales average is going to climb just by using human psychology. They want it. You create it. They want it. And on September 5th, it's who are you to call yourself a photographer? Now that may sound kind of derogatory or mean, but these are things that are going to help you out and cause you to realize who you are as a photographer and what things you can do to better portray yourself as one. And then our next panel, which is on, all these are on Mondays, but we do our panels in the evenings. And that's just to accommodate schedules and people. Not everybody can make it at lunchtime. And a lot of our panelists can't. So we have it at 6:30 in the evening, 6:30 to 8 o'clock, where we bring in three different people. Now, a lot of times they're photographers, but it's whatever's appropriate for the subject to give their opinions so that you just don't hear mine or Amanda's. You get to hear more opinions. And this one is going to be about what I do to grow as a photographer. And there's a lot of things you can do, but what are these three photographers doing? So that's coming up on September 12th. Does those sound interesting, Amanda?
Yeah, that's my birthday. Let's do it.
Birthday. So 29 or 25.
21. I'm going down in age.
Perfect. Love it. All right. So I I think that's all that we needed to share with you guys today. So uh, Amanda, thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do and your team keeping everybody motivated. Isla, thank you for keeping everybody motivated and happy because I know that she plays a big role in that. She's not the only one playing a role in that, but I'm sure she plays a big role in it.
With
Uh,
every customer that comes in the building.
it's by the way, if you haven't seen her puppy, her big, huge, white, fluffy dog, you need to go to Digital Pro Lab just to introduce yourself to her because she's super cute and super friendly, and she loves everybody.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Amanda, for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you. Always. Thank you. And hopefully,
Whoops. I had clicked the button too soon?
oh, you're good. I said hopefully we see you on Saturday.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We definitely plan on being there at the lab on Saturday. Is Isla going to be there? Or is that too many people?
That might be too many people. That's system overload for her.
Yeah,
We'll be at home.
I figured that'd be the case.
It'll be
All
fun.
right.
I like it.
Well, we'll see you on Saturday.
Bye, Jim.
So, you guys, thank you for being here and investing your time to grow, to become better, to become a better person, a better photographer, better to your clients. And just by being here, you are uplifting the photography community. Of course, I want you to share this with others. I want other people to know. I want more people to watch this because I believe that the more people who are aware, the more people who are constantly growing and causing their systems and their price lists and everything to be better are uplifting the photography community. You are being watched. People are seeing what you're doing. If you've got a website, if you've got a social media presence, people are seeing what you're doing. You are making an impact even to those who you have no idea even exist. So the growth that you continue to make, the classes that you continue to take, the different changes that you make in improving your business and your life are impacting others as well. Keep on doing it, you guys. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography through helpful information, step-by-step processes, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Be here every Monday for a different way of looking at the business side of photography. Thank you for investing your time in the Portrait Profit Show. Bye for now.